everybody. Welcome back, Kathy Tooley. I'm really excited to talk just a little bit today about assessments. Right? Assessments. I want to talk big picture today, not really small picture. We'll do another YouTube video later about the questions you use on video on your assessments, but today's really about assessments as a whole. So I want to refer you over here today. Just a couple of things that I want to talk about when we talk about assessments. Up here it says semester 1 or quarter 2 or an exam. I want you to replace this with whatever your largest assessment is. Whether that's a state assessment, whether that's your semester assessment, the biggest picture here. So think big, big, big. Pull that helicopter all the way up where you are now looking at all the trees. That's how we start writing assessments. We start with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. And then I've broken this down that these will be your smaller unit tests. This is unit 4 and unit 5. And then these are the smaller quizzes. This is the quarter exam that fed to these quizzes and bigger exams, and on down so forth. So I want you to look at this visual for this very number one reason. Then we're going to talk about this in a minute. Most of us, or I shouldn't say most, but I certainly did. I started out just creating quizzes, right? We would teach one topic, and then I would create a quiz. And then after I'd given 3 or 4 quizzes, then I created a test. And then after I created that test, I started a couple other quizzes. And then after I created these tests, I created my semester exam. And then just rinsed and repeated for the second semester. And sometimes couldn't figure out why my students were still being successful on their state assessments. And what I figured out finally was if I start with my state assessment, understanding what I need my students to understand and work backwards from that, appropriately placing that where it belongs, I made a huge difference. We'll talk about essential standards on a whole separate video. And we work with a lot of our schools on establishing essentials, the real power standards that are on your state assessment. Well, we'll address that in a separate video. I want to talk lastly about the 60-40 rule. The 60-40 rule. 60-40 means this. Every time you give an assessment, I want 60% of that assessment to be information they've already learned. 40% of that assessment to be new information. We're going to constantly keep spiraling those power standards and information that students have to know. So 60% a respiraling of what we've had and 40% new information. Critical if you're a math or an ELA teacher. Because as you know, in math and ELA, it just so builds upon. And we often wonder why students start getting in trouble at a certain level in math, and it's because we haven't continued to spiral the foundations of that math that were necessary. Same thing with an ELA. Standards don't really change, they just constantly build upon each other. So make sure that all of your assessments are in a 60-40 rule. 60% old, 40% new. They start with the end in mind and work backwards as to building that. Okay? If you found this video helpful, remember I have 2 asks. 1, hit the subscribe button. We want you to follow us so you continue to see more videos that we hope are making a difference in your classroom. And tag your educator friends and share this video. As always, thank you for being who you are, and thank you for making a difference in the lives of our kids every single day. Have a great day.